Bit of a bummer.
Still can't get over it. FPX, a Meiko pick as well, most likely for Jwei. I will say, the very first game that we saw with this roster from FPX, I think all the way back in Demacia Cup, or at least the first day of stage or split 1, Jwei had a monster Meiko support game, and after the performance we got on his Nautilus, I think you should be feeling very confident to now rock with something like the Meiko and finding those pop blossoms.
Yeah, we'll see if we end up actually getting a support pick here from Meiko, if they end up grabbing something that can pair up with the Nidalee. If they want something like Renekton now, which I know historically Gnar, a counter to Renekton with the Nidalee, TheShy, more than happy to play that champion whenever and wherever. Wouldn't be surprised to see him pull that one out. Or, of course, you have to grab your support now, unless you want to face a few bans. Will end up being the Rel picked up here for Meiko.
Solid initiation now lined up for IG, and even though it's not the guaranteed CC from something that you would get, like point-and-click stun on a Leona, since it's banned, Rel can still set up Nidalee spears or combos if you're wanting to look for the invade special. But a misfortune lock-in from FPX decides more than likely the bot lane. I don't think we're going to see any Meiko swap to mid lane for care this time around. We haven't seen Meiko mid in quite some time. It's just been the support. But now, bans on the table, trying to get rid of any tricky counter picks that the Gnar would not like to have to deal with.
Yeah, Bullet Blossom could be rather deadly in the bot side. Of course, you have Mega Gnar over the top to help set up that MF too, as the Meiko MF will likely be lane dominant into the Varus Rel. So onus going to be on Gala and Meiko to try and outplay that. As we get through the rest of the draft, of course, did talk about TheShy's Renekton. I know Gnar versus Renekton historically, I'd say a little bit Gnar's side. Of course, both champs have some timers, but still paying respect where respect's due. You see in Italy and TheShy on the other team, I feel like a Renekton ban always going to be all right.
Do they go for another top lane ban, or do they try to limit the jungle pool? It's actually, or not the jungle pool, mid lane pool, with the Orianna being taken away from Rookie. Things like the Azir are still available and would benefit greatly being paired alongside a Nidalee receiving that attack speed steroid buff. I know we talked about normally if you have an AP jungler, you normally would like to avoid stacking too much magic damage in other solo lanes, but Nidalee is one of those champions where her magic damage is very bursty, and so you would actually benefit from having like another consistent magic damage dealer, and Azir is a great one to get benefit off of that Primal Surge. But the Pantheon lock-in, that's an aggressive jungle pick for Shadow here.
I will say technically they could still put Meiko mid, Panth support, and do some funky stuff if they want. Could even see a Panth mid, so still some flexibility for FPX, but we do assume that's going to be in the hands of Shadow. As I will say, point and click could be really nice against the Nidalee. I would like to see a mid laner that can pair up with that. Aurora actually has slinked her way into game 2 in this late in the draft. Got to say, a little bit surprised by that. The priority that this champ garners very high. So we'll be locked in here for IG with likely TheShy looking for his champ at the top side. Of course, they've hovered Lee Sin twice now, and it's actually going to be a Lee Sin top into Gnar for TheShy.
What patch is this? What season are we in, Matt? Lee Sin top?
I mean, we'll see. I would really like an Akali here for care. I feel like there's a real lack of CC for IG that can deal with something like an Akali. So yeah, I know this has been hovered twice now. I think this is the pick, and that will be locked in.
Yeah, your CC is so conditional from the side of IG. Nothing is guaranteed, and this is a landscape where Akali can actually thrive on the battlefield, being able to dip in and out if she avoids the Chain of Corruption, the Magnustorm from Meiko. What? The side top? Oh, Nidalee Bruiser top? Oh my god!
No.
My time has come!
Are we really doing this, TheShy?
My time has come! My time has come! Oh my god! I'm gonna wait until the timer hits 0.
Yeah, it's 20 seconds is when that swap. That's an Italy top. Oh my goodness. TheShy continues to surprise. Continues to surprise.
Oh my goodness. All right, guys. Nidalee top. This is AD Nidalee. There is a time, I want to say last summer heading into Worlds, where Ever since a
It
little
was
bit of the
rumored.
touch-up
It was
buffs.
rumored that this was going to get played, and then swaps got big again, and then it was gonzo, right?
And it was gonzo. But now we're in a world where lane swaps are no longer happening. You can no longer punish something cheesy like a Nidalee top. She is a pure lane bully. She walks in, she heals herself, she maxes E, she gets an attack speed steroid, she goes with grasp. If you want even more information, go hit up a Lurlo stream real quick, look in the archives and the highlights. This guy spammed it a lot in solo queue, popularized it enough to the point where even Merwin from LEC was playing it on a stage game as well. There's a lot of optimizations that you can make in top lane Nidalee, and I would argue is even more mechanically demanding than playing just normal jungle AP Nidalee. And if anyone's gonna do it, it might as well be TheShy.
I want to say that historically this has been a pick that TheShy has played and like tried to popularize before into top lane. I mean, it kind of fits him as a player, but just curious to see this played in an actual stage game. As going in, it's gonna be the grass for TheShy, the D-boy that started as we figured, and that's gonna be spotted.
Yeah, FPX immediately knowing that they do not want to allow TheShy to set up those traps. Again, that bush control sets that early ward. It's so important because how you want to be able to poke and prod a lane in the top lane as Nidalee is weaving the auto attacks, dipping into brush to dodge the minion aggro, and you're just constantly getting those grass stacks. Oh my god, I'm so excited, man.
I mean, you are. Here's another question, though. Who the hell is going to do damage on IG's team?
I refuse to acknowledge that concern. I refuse to acknowledge it. I don't care. We're playing for content at this point.
I know it's Poke Ferris, but if these fights go long at all, whatsoever, it's going to be hard for IG, as they really lack DPS with this squad. So I want to see what's going to happen. Also, I do see a Jack of all trades on TheShy, so the expected Trinity Force going to come out from him is, yep, that ward is going to draw minion aggro, and TheShy, well, the interest has started.
Yeah, this does really help Sheer a lot, though, because that's a lot of your game plan of trying to not take as much minion aggro as it's already, you know, the caster minions starting to build up a lot of that damage, and where TheShy could have had a pretty solid health advantage is now pretty even, if not in the favor of Sheer, but TheShy, once he gets access to his E in level 2, he'll be able to give himself some pseudo-sustain thanks to the Primal Surge.
Yeah, I do want to say, looks like our jungler is going to be a matched clear this time, each going bot to top. That point and click stun from Pantheon, I think it's going to be really, really valuable this game. If he's able to get on the Nidalee, on the Lee Sin, he has an Akali to play off of too, potential to set up for MF or Nico. A lot of eyes going to be on Shadow in this Pantheon, a jungle that has really been popularized by the LPL, and I think it's still a really strong pick across the world. Again, the point and click stun so valuable as, oh boy.
Oh man, Jiejie. I mean, we were so hyped up on the top side of the match that Jiejie is going to create some attention on the pod side of the map. Flash from Meiko early on. Awesome knows that he's got no way out. It's the early 3-camp clear into a gank on the bot side. First blood for Jiejie.
All right, well played, IG and Jiejie. It's still very important that they are able to really keep this game rolling. As, okay, looks like TheShy was the last one to play this against Top Esports. Did it win? I can't tell if it won from that graphic or not. As
I could not tell either, but you know what? I do not care. I get to see Italy top. Oh my god.
Yeah, and you can see it in this matchup again. Sheer, he went green tree, he went D-shield, and TheShy still hasn't melted. But again, Shadow, Pantheon, point and click, level 4. TheShy's low.
Jump into the bushes, get the movement speed from your passive, TheShy. Keep running away. Stun from Shadow. Here comes the Aegis Assault, and he gets out of it, and he lands a spear, and now he has a chance to turn onto it. He can totally jump in, because he's got Jiejie in his back pocket. The safeguard looks for the Sonic Wave. Oh, but it hits a minion instead. The spear will not connect either, but that's a flash out of Shadow.
Still well played from TheShy. Again, Nidalee does pack a lot of power at this point of the game. As the IG topside, they will win this 2v2, even with Jiejie down a level. Not going to matter. Sheer will be able to absorb, though. Crab will go over to the Lee Sin, and already did. And Shadow not able to get access to any camps, so that bot gank ends up actually just being all right here for IG and Jiejie in this jungle matchup. That said, FPX are going to switch up the matchups and try and find a favorable swap into this Nidalee. I would love to see Awesome actually get this wave in and then swap again.
Yep. Predict the lane
If
swap
they really want to pull,
after.
yeah, because the Varus is going back now, and that wave isn't even in. I'm really surprised he didn't kill that wave and they didn't just like eat it for one wave. With TheShy being top, the fact that they swap now is gonna be really beneficial for Sheer. And yeah, they actually lose the TP because this wave is not favorable for IG. So a small win for FPX.
Yep. Wave stacking up. Let's see how FPX can adapt to the conditions that are now kind of given to them thanks to their proactive lane swap. Gold lead is small, but in the advantage mostly of the top side of the map here. After a successful gank from Jiejie. Awesome. Still down to cleanse, but maintained his flash, just accepting his fate. And that's a... oh, damn. It's a hearty chunk from the Aurora in the mid lane against Kair's Akali. We'll see if the... I'm not sure how the matchup is supposed to go later on into the game, but, you know... watching mid laners play Aurora, it definitely does seem very oppressive to play against. And
yeah,
thankfully I don't have to do that in my own time.
Yeah, I mean, also Kair going for the electrocute build. We'll say, I didn't catch what the secondary was. I assume it's Green Tree, but definitely trying to survive early on the onslaught against Aurora. Again, the good news later on for Kair, not a lot of CC to stop the Akali. As you highlighted, and appropriately so, Mark, outside of the rel, a lot of conditional CC for IG. Skill shots need to land, or, you know, it needs to be a chain kick from the Lee Sin, and that's really about it. So I still feel like the setup for FPX is so important that the lanes go IG's way, because the team fights just will be easier for FPX. As grubs have spawned, they've been started. Jiejie snags one as Shadow can rotate over, and both junglers have access to Smite.
Yep. Jiejie was able to take the first one without Smite, so we can always go back in and try and chance for it, but a majority of FPX members are guarding it, so it would be ill-advised for Jiejie to go in just to burn his flash on the way out. Two grubs secured. Jiejie dashes out. Kair flashing in forward with the perfect execution, looking for the first kill. Dashes out looking for Rookie, but dies to the electrocute proc, and Rookie is able to dash his way out. The rest of IG looking for exit kills, but not going to find any more.
All right, trade goes down. Kair no TP. That's actually kind of big. I know Kair got the kill, but the fact that he's off the map, this Akali falls behind again. Akali is something that can really break the game in this draft with the lack of CC that IG has for Akali in particular. So I know that Kair got a kill. I think still keeping Kair off the map means that the 1-for-1 trade is, I would say, slightly favor IG. I know they dropped the grubs, but attempted engage there. And you still can see from Kair, even with the focus that IG were able to put. Yes, they do get through the Akali's health bar, but Kair was still able to get an execute off and do some damage in that fight.
Yeah. Looking forward to the next potential objective contest. Mountain Dragon is still alive for the taking. Neither team has really made a move for it yet. TheShy trying to build up priority in that bot side of the map. So he takes a base. I thought he was gonna have enough money for the Phage, but he's probably short, and he's just going for the boots to at least get that extra movement speed that he would have otherwise had he had enough gold for the Phage, proccing the on-hit passive. That does really help a lot in that laning phase where you're just trying to dip in and out, using the movement speed from the items you're getting, as well as the passive from walking in and out of bushes, or using the hunted target passive as well. You're just trying to weave in as many auto attacks as possible without, you know, taking harass back from the top lane matchup.
And I will say the CS pretty close, so has been okay at the moment if you are sheer. And again, team fights, I mean, Nar just brings so much more to the table in the team fights, whereas Nids really wants to be that side lane menace if possible. But the fact that Sheer is surviving now does have that early skill cap, so again, Nar can only just go defensive as Kair.
That was a pretty nice combo from Kair.
Yeah.
As you called it. And it forces Rookie to ult defensively.
All right, small win. Top side, I mean, just kind of a 1-for-1, but Kair is still the one that has the priority, and Rookie being a little bit lower. That said, Meiko going to make his way up and help Rookie likely escort this wave in, and potentially even look for a dive. It is a caddy wave, so Jwei going to come up and hover too, with Shadow on the way.
Here. This is a little dangerous for IG if they want to force a dive. I think it just let Shadow, or I should say Rookie, get this wave in, but they're not going to be given a chance. The Sonic Wave is dodged beautifully by Kair with that shuriken backflip. The buffer from Meiko on the crash down ignores the stun from Pantheon. Well played by both sides.
I appreciate the idea there from Shadow. I think that ult was a little bit deep. Again, Rookie, no ult, no flash. If that ult is placed a wee bit better, should be okay. But Rookie was able to retreat to his teammates in the river, and that ult ended up being a little bit deep from Shadow. Didn't want to burn the flash to try and get on the Aurora because there was no guarantee of follow-up damage coming through. So, well managed here, as it does look like we had awesome burn a cleanse off screen, which is being shown. So, good job from Gala in the mid lane. At least get a little something. But map stays pretty quiet.
TheShy finally getting some time to chip some extra plates off of this tower. Maybe looking for Shadow. Still has a flash available. Jiejie safeguards back to Meiko. Jwei threatening. Has Pop Blossom available now that he's level 6. A little bit of tangoing in the river as they jockey for position over the Scuttle Crab, and Grub's coming up in 10 seconds. Oh, Meiko Q flash forward. Pop Blossom doesn't stop, and the bullet time forces Jiejie to flash defensively away.
Hair.
Rookie cannot get enough damage out, and he is forced to retreat on the left side, and FPX will take the river fight in style.
I don't really know why IG took that one. I don't know, man. There were not conditions that I saw available for them in order of taking to take a fight, and they kind of walked into the Nico and ate the Bullet Blossom combo, and that was the fight. I don't know if you saw anything different there, Raafaa. I feel like I'm being maybe a little bit harsh, but I really didn't see it.
Oh, okay. Another ult trade for trade once again. TheShy is getting close to putting Sheer at lethal, but the problem is that once Sheer hits Mega, then you can no longer have threat on diving him, but he is chunking him out. He is trying to force him away and getting a lot of turret plates, but back to the replay. We saw the not so good fight from IG.
I mean, again, the engage is just on the Pantheon, who can burn the E, gets the point and click off onto the Lee Sin, so Jiejie forced out of the fight immediately, and then Care blast going in over the wall, and as we go back to live, Meiko is in Narnia, gets stuck and taken down.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is maybe Meiko was trying to get some defensive vision for Shy so that he could continue.
I mean, he got a free Drake. Tower. It's fine, you know.
You know what?
Yep. Support for Drake is worth in the long haul, right?
True.
Was it necessary? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We need some copium after that. I think it's okay.
We're always on copium, Raafaa. Come on, it's just easier to have life be that way.
As,
yeah. Okay. Yeah, we don't need to shout that out.
3.5 minutes until the Rift Herald spawns. 4 minute and 20 for Dragon, and Rookie. Oh, he's gonna try to teleport. Can Shadow get in range to stun him? Yeah. Nicely done by Rookie.
A little bunny hop and escape on out. TP's mid, not going to be able to grab anything. Wave will be crash top. 5 grubs over to FPX yet again, so gotta believe that top outer turret, it's going to be under threat this upcoming wave. And the response from IG is to push hard bot. You can see Gala, Meiko making the rotation as the race is on. And FPX with the grub advantage going to be up.
Teleport is coming in from FPX. They are actually scared of IG being able to win this turret push war, but as you called out, the 5 grubs guarantees it. Sheer helps out with the extra bit of damage. It does look close, but FPX victorious in the first brick.
That Nidalee attack speed steroid almost doing some extra work there to secure at least a feats proc for IG, one of the 3 steps. Instead, it is just feats secured for FPX off that first brick.
The fact that FPX were able to deny the grubs away from IG is so huge for them, because this is pretty much the peak point of the Nidalee top lane experience. Trinity Force acquired, you want to be splitting on the side lanes and creating a lot of map pressure just through turrets being taken. After this point, it doesn't get better. Yeah, this is it. This is the peak experience of it.
I just still don't know what the game plan was from IG. We picked Nidalee to, I don't know, match the Triforce, try and win the matchup, but the lack of CC against the 5-pick Akali is still going to be such a problem. They don't have a lot of DPS to go into the MF who can kind of drain tank, right? If things get squishy, and now we'll see if this base is for IG.
Kick. Not quite into turret range, but it does get 1 turret at range. There it is. Shy flashing with the takedown to secure the kill on the Care.
Jwei
trying to join the fight here, looking for a pop blossom angle. TheShy is a little too far forward. The flash to guarantee the knock up onto the Cougar. Down goes Nidalee. And awesome benefits from the kill gold there.
Nice escape there from Jwei. Obviously took one down with him. I thought he was stuck there for a sec, and we stayed able to get TheShy. So it ends up being a 1-for-1. With Sheer, we stayed able to push top. Not going to get anything real, but still, IG, this is what they want to do. They want to skirmish. They want to play, use the Nidalee to be strong. They can have the Varus delete waves so that you can play around with maybe some more timers. We really haven't seen that one yet. From Gala, he's yet to be super active on this map, Raafaa. And again, a FPX with a small gold lead. This comp is so much better in team fights. It's so much easier to execute than what IG can bring. As it's a nice bait from TheShy and Jiejie, but like again, it's a 1-for-1. A few more resources were invested here, but you have Rookie and Gala both racing to try and be involved in this fight, and it's not like IG were able to pick up or play out 3 lanes the way that they were able to last game when it was FPX making plays on them. So
yeah,
again, we'll see if that change ends up being made by IG moving forward, but it's not like they're getting anything real off these skirmishes going, even unlike last game where they were better at playing through lanes.
Yeah, because you're not necessarily getting a huge scaling factor on a majority of these champions that IG have drafted. This is the peak of your strength. A lot of these champions spiking really hard right now on 1 item. You know, 2 item maybe for the Varus once the Muramana is, you know, fully stacked and you've got this second serrated dirt component turning into whatever it's going to be. And you can kind of live the 1-3-1 split push with poke from the Varus, split push from the Aurora and the Nidalee. But like we said earlier, FPX denied grubs from them. They're going to deny Rift Herald from them. So a lot of the game plan that IG would have preferred is not going their way. So now IG have to really bank on just opportunistic picks and forcing skirmishes when FPX are not prepared for it. But so far, the way that they have adapted, they've been the first ones to collapse. They've been the ones with the numbers advantage, and FPX are straight up outplaying IG on the map.
Yeah, props to Sheer for really holding down the fort against this Emax Nidalee. Again, this is a pick that is chosen for lane. You don't see any real deficit on the Sheer or FPX, and he's just going to be infinitely more useful. Sheer was a huge part of their run just to make it into this group in the first place. Was, I'd say, the honorary MVP if it wasn't for Jwei's magnetic dredge lines in the last one. Would have been a Sheer MVP. The fact that he's even here, just the opportunity for him in fights to be so much more impactful against a team where, man, how are you going to stop Pantheon Narakali? We just don't see it. And so FPX, the onus and opportunity is on them and for them to win this game is Care. Goodbye.
2v1. Grand Star fall into the stun to allow Akali to land everything. Yeah. Nidalee will not survive that one. Jiejie jumps onto Shadow. He's got Meiko in his back pocket, but I don't know if he has enough damage. Kick flash. Lands him into a bush. But here comes Rookie with the teleport. And Care has to leave his jungler to die. No way the Shadow will escape this one. Big shutdown bounty going over to the hands of Rookie's Aurora. Maybe it could give IG a little bit of a boon to work with. As now Meiko just forcing Care away from the minion wave.
We're going to have to be that person later on that does end up making people go pop. As Aurora still caught off guard by how much damage her combo can do later on in games. Not even the ult combo, just the QE, if you're able to get that passive proc with it as well.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's really where the hope is for IG in these fights. But still, if the 3-lane scenario isn't going well for you, again, just look at the comps. Like, how much easier is it for FPX to execute comps? Like, look at this, a point and click into Akali. Just like, no chance for TheShy to do anything on the Nidalee where you want to be slippery, you want to find outplays. You have this, you took the Lee Sin, instead the flex of a champ that wants to do the same. You're still playing into the point and click Pantheon and like the Gnar and Eco. I just really perplexed by the decisions of IG. In some ways, you can just kind of laugh it off and be like, oh, haha, it's TheShy, this is how he plays. But also, what does this flex actually get you in this game? I don't see the value of it.
And this is why I refused to acknowledge the logical argument earlier on in the draft. I wanted to be happy for the first 10 minutes of the game where I knew that I could enjoy.
Mark just wants to vibe.
Listen, man, I never get to see Nidalee top. When it was actually happening, I never got to cast it. I finally did. Thank you, TheShy. I appreciate your contribution. As now FPX trying to collapse onto Care. Actually, they're nowhere near. Care is totally fine. Dissuading a 3-man attempt on the top side of the map. Gonna use the Rift Herald to unlock the mid lane here. One crash should do it. Bam, there it is.
I mean,
no one's gonna escort the Herald out the safety though. Sad.
Gotta be honest, Raafaa, this is the type of game that like I would show my mid-masters collegiate team, just be like, guys, why didn't they pick Maokai? You know, for like confirmation bias. It's like, how sick is that champion? You bring all that CC engaged and control. Like, why aren't we playing it? You know, I mean, why do you end up like we can do better than this?
Like unironically, hang on.
All right, I'm gonna bully this pick a lot, so I might actually.
Oh, he speared the minion. It might not be enough. Okay, but TheShy still has the damage with the takedown, and the Triforce proc with the flash is still not gonna save him. Auto attack still goes through. Oh boy.
I mean, it was a nice outplay from TheShy, like, and then he flashed air, which is a little bit unfortunate.
Yeah.
Might get Shadow in the back half. Oh, okay, Sonic Wave catches a minion, and again, like the skirmishes. That's what this comp is built for IG. If they're not able to win the 1v1s, 2v2s, 3v3s, how are you gonna win the 5v5s this game? And that's really kind of why we're perplexed. And I know the game's not out of control yet in FPX's favor, but what's the out for IG? What's their win con? We just don't see it.
They just have to hope that they have better hands in the fights that it matters. I think that's literally it. So we see. Oh.
I mean, it was a preemptive setup. Like, Shadow's not TPing in yet with his ult, I should say. I think if Sheer hits the first W, it's a maybe. He did catch him on the second one, which did help set up TheShy to get taken down by Shadow. But I think Sheer, I like the idea. I do think he went in just a little bit early there. If he went in with the Mega when Shadow was about to channel or was channeling, I do think that that's warranted, but a little bit too early with Shadow not being in position to yet cast that ultimate, ends up going down to TheShy.
Yeah. The way that IG are catching minion waves both mid and bot side. I'm not sure if they saw. Yeah, I'm not sure if they saw Jiejie on the bottom side of the map, but they must have enough knowledge to force the Otacon here. IG are gonna try to scope it out, but there's just no chance that they can safely walk in.
That's the thing. Like, even if IG wanted it or want to think about this, they can't fight it. They don't have the tools to even take a fight like that. Like, you're playing into the corridors against Pop Blossom and Meganar, no chance. You just have to take the inner. So, Otacon falls. It is the GA Otacon, so temporary power for FPX. Not like the Flowers went through, where everyone gets about a half level and change of XP, which is always kind of nice. IG can be a little bit happy with that, but still, this is going to be such a hard game for IG to win. And I don't see, does Nidalee take over like with 3, 4, 5 items? I mean, it's just not what you pick the champion for. And not something I can really see happening in that side lane match, even if she is going to be very favorable in that 1v1 and 2v2 is, Care.
Maybe a pick on the Care. They get the initial stun onto him. Jiejie tries to follow up, and TheShy, one last auto attack. That's one GA down. They got to be careful, though. The rest of FPX are collapsing. Shadow's taking a lot of damage on the entry here. Between Worlds gets a decent amount of work done. Bullet time forces Meiko out of the fight. And he lives, as you called it out. IG, that was pretty much one of the best outcomes they could have asked for right there.
Yeah, I mean, they got one withdraw. FPX not deciding to really throw their GAs in there because they do have a dragon that is on the map. And I want to see if FPX is going to play this one, because at the moment, IG finds themselves on the top side of the rift. Opportunity here for FPX to go attack that dragon. You can see Shadow making his way down, Jiejie as well. So we'll see if we get a contest.
Yeah. Rest of FPX are the first ones here onto the dragon pit. There was a ward, but it is being blocked out by that control ward from the side of FPX. 5k, 4k, 3k on the dragon. Jiejie nowhere near. It's secured by FPX. That's their first dragon of the game. IG had already picked up the first 2 earlier on. Meanwhile, TheShy still putting pressure down onto the top side, and he at least is playing to the win conditions that IG have, as small as they are. Meiko on the run. Should be able to make it out alive.
Shadow does not want to cast the ult. Of course, that outer turret still standing this late into the game, so likely to be the target here from FPX. They don't know that Jiejie's here.
Shadow is a little far forward. Kick into the tower. And that should be the revival, the withdrawal expended there. All right, well, IG are getting kills here and there.
Top. Yeah.
And it got close.
Not able to take down TheShy. Of course, he did max that E. It has the Sunder Skies, so Lucille is going to be big. Executioners was bought by Sheer to help prevent that, but a little bit of back and forth.
Ooh. Rookie thought that he had a 1v1 against Care, and yeah, the audience knew.
Yeah.
They reacted the same way as I did. We were like, oh, okay, 1v1. Oh, and then Rookie immediately seeing the Nico in his back pocket. And it's like, I don't want to take this anymore.
They were also a little bit scared there. I said even gold game. Inner been taken in bot lane. Gotta imagine that TheShy has to switch up what lane he's in soon with the Baron spawning. You gotta imagine they want to put him away from the action so that he has more space to take. That said, bot lane, he's already taken the inner, so gonna be a while until we can actually pressure that inhibitor turret.
Oh, Meiko with
He
the
finds
potential
himself
flank.
top.
The rest of FPX immediately distance themselves enough.
Respecting their lines.
Yep.
They did
Here's
find
here.
Meiko, so yeah, I mean, well played here by FPX. They really did a nice job actually of defending their jungle there. And again, if they keep their lines, they keep things stable. That's where things start to favor them. Is Care actually gonna take the wall over?
Shy's in trouble. Tries to flash away. Gets out of range from the shadow here. Care kicked in.
Wait, he kicked him in.
But he just delivered him to TheShy, but it's not enough damage from the Akali onto TheShy. Bullet time rocks through the front line of IG. Jiejie falls. Rookie tries to stall the time with the Between Worlds, but Jwei finds his moment. Pop Blossom with the rocket belt finds it on the 2. No other members from IG have dropped yet. They're still trying to press forward, but Meiko is just not taking enough to step forward like that. Gala will not get a chance to put some damage in. And FPX, now with the confidence of 2 members gone from IG, might just look to rip the Baron.
That wasn't even a great look for FPX at the start, but a couple of funky things happened to that one. First up, Jiejie kind of with the tip assist over to Care, knocking him in to at least do some damage against TheShy, who did end up living, but that bought time for Sheer to come in and hit the Mega Gnar, which netted them the kill of the fight.
It definitely looked a little goofy. It's like, oh no,
Yeah,
you
it's a
just
little weird.
hand-delivered the Akali to the Nidalee, but at least for TheShy's sake, this is not a squishy Nidalee. You know, it is a bruiser Nidalee. It does survive a little bit longer, but yeah, the rest of the fight, oh boy.
Again, you can see the pop, like when Rookie goes in and Gala was able to get a pretty big Q in there. But again, this is a lot of poke, pick, and skirmishing that IG opted for, but the draft, not DPS. So Meiko stepping up like this, he gets piped down by the DPS marksman, right? I mean, that's pretty easy for Awesome in the back half to find that kill. And again, that's the concern for IG, is that if they do make mistakes, DPS marksman in
caught
hand.
out, Shadow stuns him down. Pretty tanky, is able to survive the pick. Will be forced off the map for now. Get a chance to reset. Got Dragon coming up in 1 minute and 20. Baron's still alive for the taking. FPX did not take that opportunity, did not want to take the chance, as there were still 3 members with a lot of damage on IG side that could have stopped them on the Baron take. FPX still taking this slow and patient.
Really like how FPX has carved out all the control. And man, when are we gonna... I know we spent a lot of time kind of complaining about the trap from IG, but we gotta start to give FPX some credit here, Raafaa. I mean, we're set up to have a 2-0 over the, I'd say, the fan favorite super team in IG. The super team that has yet to really look like a super team. Did so in the placements, but now in Split 2 proper, off to a slow start against FPX, who have really been on the come up. This addition of Awesome, we kind of felt like, okay, like Oki's going over to FPX, like that's fine. They're still gonna be a tough team, but it feels like it's really revitalized this squad, and they've been playing a lot better with Shadow and Jwei at the helm. These guys actually have had some good looks.
It's also the coaching staff addition as well. I'm blanking on at the moment, but I know that production was telling us as well that when Awesome came over, there's some coaching staff changes that were added. It has really helped in the long run here, because like we said before in game 1, you know, it was not the same FPX that we saw in the placement stage. Maybe glimpses of it during that qualifier.
Well. Yeah. So that was nice. As you might have to pause about the story here, Mark, because we do have a setup going over to the Dragon and IG. They do have poke and a lot of heal. So that is one thing where if IG, if they are able to get control, might be able to find something here going up against FPX, as the Nidalee heals and the Varus poke will be doing some work. Does find Jwei and Awesome, as FPX really an uphill battle for vision. It looks like they might be sacking this soul point.
Shadow's the first one into the river, gets some vision down. Meiko turns it around. Jwei with the counter, Pop Blossom engaged, and there's the bullet time ripping through once again. Good spear from TheShy. Does he want to look for Jwei? Can't get in range, but Care on the left side flank. Rookie's exposed. Sheer barely survives. Dodges the comet. TheShy is in. Can he get enough done? Kills Awesome, but Sheer still is alive. Care. Oh, wait a minute. Gala finds enough damage and puts the arrow into his back. So far, the most competitive fight that IG have been able to field against FPX, but still, they lost 4 members, and Gala is the only survivor.
Dragon still on the board, too. Good job by Gala to clean up the back half of the fight. That was a good start to the fight from IG, but again, you can see no DPS, really, like from their team. It's a weird damage profile from them, and TheShy wasn't able to carry things out on the Nidalee, as he has opted for a Shojin, so a lot more animal form cooldowns able to be used. You know, all the normal abilities, kind of nice. As again, Rookie, good start to the fight, but the combo coming out, Sheer even throwing people backwards, they still stayed in the range of the bullet time. And then FPX just awesome, I gotta say. I know he goes down to the end, but I thought he had a really nice fight. He even sidestepped the arrow there, kept him alive, was not able to sidestep the Q from TheShy. If he does that, maybe he lives, but at least he was able to pump out all the damage. Did flash air at the end. We're gonna ignore that. That was a bit of a bummer. If he stays alive, that would have been a free dragon, so I know that the flash attempt was okay. Ends up being nothing as he goes down. And it might just be a rinse and repeat here over the dragon with a lot of sums down.
Oh, between worlds, they found Jwei!
That's big!
That's huge! No Pop Blossom available now for FPX.
That's Dragon gone.
Yeah.
No fight. Pop Blossom's really big for at least holding people together, and then you have the Bullet Blossom combos. So that not being available is going to be enough to make sure that this soul point does go over to IG.
I mean, we questioned earlier, how does IG beat the composition of FPX? I jokingly remarked, play better, have better hands. I mean, I don't know if this is necessarily a case, but just finding a good opportunistic pick on one of the few engages that FPX has, that's a way to guarantee an objective for yourself. That
is a good find. I like that. Again, Pop Blossom, it is a single ability, but it brings a lot of power to the fight when you have a bullet time behind it. So taking that option away in a fight where a lot of people were going to be down summoner spells after the last skirmish was very nice from Jiejie, and was able to pick that up, find a kill, and find the dragon.
While we have some time, the funniest thing about this match so far, Cubby, is most Nidalee games I've seen, or Nidalee top games I've seen in like solo queue, have never lasted this long where I've seen what a third item looks like on Nidalee top. It's just Trinity
I know.
Force.
I gotta say,
yeah.
I'm starting to wonder, especially with the Guardian Angel for Awesome, if Nidalee can almost like drain tank, because Bruiser Nidalee does a good chunk of damage. So I'm wondering how much TheShy can actually get involved in like drain tank a backline.
The unironic big spike on Nidalee top is actually level 16, because every rank you get in your ultimate, you increase the amount of XQ damage you do on your takedown.
Hey, he's winning this hard.
Dude, he is honing on Sheer. He's got to go mega before Shy pops in. There's the slam, there's the wall up, and there's the difference. Flash forward, falls TheShy, and will outplay him on the Gnar.
Well, as much as we thought the Nidalee pick could work out, it's still not working out, Raafaa, as the Nidalee top has not been the answer in FPX. They've had all the answers here, as keep in mind, Kara on the Sakali, not a lot of CC that can stop it. I thought it was a really nice engage from Meiko that kept the last fight so close, so even. And then the pick on the Jwei. Jwei now going to be looking for that big flash Pop Blossom combo as IG, this Baron's getting low.
Oh, Jiejie taking the port over the wall. He's able to see that it was at 5,000 HP, 3,800, goes back in, fishes for a Q. Is he gonna take it? 1,700, 1,200, Jiejie does it again! We've seen it time and time, where Jiejie's able to pull a rabbit out of the hat with a smite steal! Jiejie! Oh my god, you're a monster!
The crowd loves it. He's keeping IG in the game. I'm not exactly sure what happened. They had decent vision. Jwei saw him go over that red buff wall. I don't know if they saw him actually W over, because I can see 2 control wards in. I just don't. I know that it was Jiejie going to a control ward himself. I didn't know if FPX had vision, but once he got in the pit, took down Shadow, who had the GA, and while he was dead, found the smite to steal the Baron. As FPX mistake, failing to keep Jiejie out of the pit. Of course, Sheer was the one who used all of his tools bot. A lot of the times, that's the Gnar's job to keep that Lee Sin out of the pit, as we're going to take another look. How'd this one go down? As TheShy did sidestep the first Q from Gnar, got around that one too. The big thing was just barely too close to the wall. That enabled the chain CC, and the flash from TheShy. That house sadly still hit him. Maybe if he flashes backwards towards his base, he gets in. This is the one that I want to see. Jiejie, he's going to hit the blast cone, goes over the wall, then he pink wards in. Yeah, that control ward was dropped, so again, they saw him. Shadow just wasn't able to get off his E stun. I don't know exactly what he had available in the pit, but they didn't lock up Jiejie at all. And Sheer, yeah, he goes Mega just a little bit late, so couldn't keep Wei out of the pit either. Mistake from FPX, punished by IG, and that's going to keep him in things for a little bit longer.
We saw Jiejie pull off the steal on the Dragon against top esports in their series. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to win them the game, nor the series, but IG, once again, are able to look to their jungler to pull a miracle. As now Rookie, dodges the Pop
That's a lot
Blossom.
used.
Dancing between worlds. Shadow flashing forward, bullet time. Jiejie goes back in, forced to flash away. Sheer on the hunt, gets stunned up. The Magnastorm interrupts the hop. It only scoops in Meiko. Shadow flies in on the Grand Starfall, but he's super far away. FPX trying to pincer IG now in between them. But IG are now collapsing on the Shadow, and he's all isolated. He's all by himself. This is not the flank that he was looking for, and he's got no backup to bail him out.
Great play by Meiko to interrupt the re-engage from Sheer. As IG, you said it out. What's the game plan to win this this match? Better hands, Raafaa. They showed it in that skirmish.
It is literally the one win condition that IG have. We gave credit to FPX for having the easier composition to execute, but IG are somehow weaving in and out of these breakpoints, are being able to dance around the CC and the engage tools available from FPX. And they're making it happen. This is actually Dragon Soul. Holy moly.
Varus, Nidalee being able to apply that's going to be a huge help. Those two will make a big difference, as I got to give credit to Rookie. The initial engage was onto him. He got out of 3 ultimates pretty much. Or 2 ultimates that were thrown at him. Was a big difference maker in making sure the rest of the fight went their way. And now IG... I mean, with Hexel, Raafaa, any sort of scaling issues that we might have had could be solved. FPX, like, again, this Varus, look at all the damage on the Varus Q. The Nidalee Q too. Kara's been sent back to base, and Rookie's gonna pop an ult.
Oh my goodness, awesome. Still has a GA.
Yeah, he drain tanks it.
Yeah, he's able to survive for now. It was a good look. Like the idea there from IG and Rookie in particular, but not enough to force anything meaningful.
I mean, Akali was chunked, right? There was a look there, but definitely experienced the drain tank ability of MF. I'm still a little bit scared of that. I feel like late game for IG, that like the 2 big things they need to hit, avoiding the Pop Blossom, because if one of those is big from Jwei, Awesome's going to smoke the fight as Misfortune. And for me, at this point, you kind of have to find the Misfortune. The BT is having a lot of mileage, and if you aren't able to find a clean execute on the Awesome and take him out of the fight, we've seen MF be able to actually step up in this game. Again, it's not like she's into a true tank, where MF usually falls behind later on. You know, being stuck, hitting those big beefcakes, that doesn't really exist this game for MF, and with no raw DPS marksman on the other side, she can drain tank some of this poke, step up, and actually stand and fire, which is really big. So I feel like uniquely this game, MF going to be a lot more impactful later on than usual, and we'll have to keep our eyes on Awesome to see if he can really deliver on his ability to carry a late game where he is the only DPS marksman in the game. Pretty rare that we have that, even Fearless at this point, Raafaa.
Yeah. Even though FPX were having seemingly the easy road ahead of them off of the early game, off the mid game.
That Baron steal hurts so bad.
Oh, yeah. I mean, IG are really making FPX
look at the map. All the inners were taken there by IG minus top. All the inners are standing for FPX. You can easily assume that at least 2 of those inners would have fallen if FPX would have picked up that Baron. That's what's Axel. Now we have an engage.
Grand Starfall Sheer is looking for Meiko, but can't get in range. Care is on the flank, looking for Gala, finds the shuriken backflip. Jwei gonna pop combo, pop blossom. They pop the backline. Massive for FPX. Now it's down to Rookie. TheShy can't do it. Jiejie on the Lee Sin. Can he pull out another miracle? But he's got to chew through a G, and it just won't happen. FPX line up the circles, and they find the fight.
A big TP from Care, a big engage from Jwei, and a big finish to the fight from Awesome, who was able to drain tank everything as the full build MF. And that's going to be a Baron over for FPX. Rookie's here to stop it. Shadow has a GA if you really wants to throw himself at it. Rookie, no ult for now. FPX going to start it. You got to believe this is going to fall.
Rookie's not going to even take a chance.
This game's going
Baron
Elder.
secured for FPX.
We're going Elder, Raafaa.
Oh, boy.
That's the only answer at this point. It's got to be an Elder game. They're going to wait to kill the Baron until their teammates spawn, at least Jwei. Yeah, he will pick up that Baron buff. So Baron on 4. Let's take another look. That's a big TP from Care. This importantly got the spell shield off of Gala. It was a good chain of corruption, the stick shadow as he landed, but they didn't see Care until it was too late. He waits to take the backflip until the Pop Blossom connects, and everything on the head of Gala makes the start of this fight quite hard for IG. They bring it back as the Between Worlds is huge from Rookie, but it wasn't enough to win in the end. It's awesome. Again, the only DPS marksman was not threatened enough to even get the GA and was able to tank his way throughout the rest of the fight.
Matt, when I woke up today, getting ready to do prep for this series,
I wasn't excited.
2-0 was not on my bingo card for
I wasn't
FPX.
even excited. It was like, yeah.
We brushed this off. We wrote it off as like, oh yeah, okay,
Second
this will be an
series
IG
would be fun.
2-0. You know,
Yeah.
second series maybe TT, you know, BLG, and then
beat them
obviously
before.
the top esports AL. You know, that's gonna be a banger. We
yep.
did not expect the bangers to start right now in this first series.
I mean, I guess we should have expected it. It is IG. You know, they're going to do things like pick Nidalee.
I mean, off the placement stage, I thought they had erased all the concerns. They were one of the 2 teams in their respective groups to get 6-0. The other 6-0 team was Top Esports in their own group. All the other first seeds were 5-1s. So I thought that IG were like ready to play, and FPX kind of barely scraped by coming through the qualifier stage. We were definitely not high on this team before, but I think this series has really changed our expectations of what these guys can accomplish in this stage.
I still really feel like IG found ways to troll both games in different fashions. Game 1, it was gameplay. Game 2, it was draft. But, you know,
but
FPX, credit where credit's due.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. This isn't, you know, perfect play being matched by even better perfect play, right? This is a team taking advantage of, you know, mistakes, but still, you still need to be good enough to take advantage of those mistakes against a team that is still fighting thick and thin and making it hard for you to close out the game with that advantage.
And I mean, this still is IG in a late game Elder fight. I mean, if Elder gets taken, anything can happen. So
yeah,
I gotta say, IG, they've done a good job. The fight that we saw them win/be close towards this objective was when they got river control. They were here first. FPX is an uphill battle to try and get this control back against the poke Varus. As Gala doing his damnedest to connect with these arrows. That one does go to the wayside. They lose their control of river.
Code of Darkness completely over the river, as Meiko will be the first one to start getting eyes and intel for the rest of IG. FPX unleashing the dragon, leaning towards the bottom side. Rookie trying to brute force his way in. The dragon will reset.
That's big on the Care. Yeah, Care is going to hit TP and reset again. Damage onto Akali sticks. Really big that they can find damage onto Nico, onto Akali, onto these champions that cannot heal back the health. So love that from Rookie. That's a really big chunk and is going to threaten the TP of Care. As with him going to base, Elder has been pulled. It's at half. Care TPing into the bot side as the TheShy ports over and Shadow's going in.
He's looking for the backline. He's gone in the Gala. Flash, cleanse, popped. Dodges the bullet time. Shadow is all by himself. Jwei tries to flash in forward, but Gala is able to sidestep it, and now he is unaffected. IG trying to buy space, but Gala is completely taken out of the fight. He can't get in. He finally looms forward, looks for a piercing arrow. Jwei falls. FPX still trying to fight through thick and thin. 1600 on the dragon, who secures it in Shadow, and now the fights have turned. The result, it could be going to FPX's way, but the TheShy is looking for a spear. It barely misses on the Shadow.
Oh, the start of the fight, I thought everything missed from FPX, but the Pop Blossom on the back half found a couple. It was a big between worlds from Rookie that kind of won them the fight, but the fight was even. The Elder going over onto 3. If FPX is able to reset, they might be able to use this Elder to play hard into the Baron and, again, try and clean up the rest of the inners, but I think we got plenty of game time left here, Raafaa, as we're going to at least another Baron here in this one.
Yeah.
And again, the engage from Shadow, I believe he flashed over the chains of corruption here from Gala as he used a preemptive flash.
Holy.
Yeah. Those went to the wayside. That was nice. And then Jwei in the back half ended up barely picking up Jiejie. And Care had enough space. But again, Awesome was the one who ended up being pressured in the back half. I was a little bit surprised by that. TheShy did some serious work in the back line on this Nidalee build.
He was
I gotta
actually
say,
cooking.
Awesome. He flashed. He still caught the Q from Gala. I think if he flashed the Q and actually survived that, there's a chance that he maybe carried out that fight. But not the case. Instead, just a 2-for-2. Of course, Elder, the true prize, going over to FPX. And now back out of the map. Elder on 3. We'll see what they can do to likely set up this Baron, as I think they're going to use Elder just to make sure they get this Baron safely.
Meiko not going to be stunned up by Shadow. Good buffer of the crash down to escape danger. FPX trying to escort this wave on the top side. Looking for this tier 2. Should be able to get it. Sheer in the mid lane. Trying to corral the minion wave as well. The rest of FPX trying to play through this top side. Baron spawning in 30 seconds.
Again, this is where things get interesting. I think really important that FPX able to pick up this Baron is Raafaa. We've gone full late game. A lot of things now go out the window in terms of League of Legends. For me, a lot of it's going to come down to the execution. Again, this is another reason why we liked FPX's comp. Yes, IG, they have some slippery components, but FPX, they still have that point-and-click CC with the Pantheon, with that Pop Blossom if a big one can connect, and Care and Assume or Awesome are available to follow up. That can just spell the game.
Good for IG, are able to get the first wave push in the mid lane. They have full control of that top river.
Yeah, no Elder anymore. Just expired. And they're seesawing the map a little bit right now with IG being favored towards the top side. A lot of vision behind them, though. Sheer almost has Mega and has a couple flanking wards if he wants to go for something. Baron has been started. Oh, Sheer's gonna pop Mega
already on the bottom side of the map.
Okay, does he TP behind him?
It's burning super fast. I don't think FPX can get in. 4,000. Shadow tries to brute force his way through the TheShy. 1,500 in range, but Shadow cannot get in there. Sheer on the flank. Was he spotted? Was he spotted?
No.
IG, they're trying to lean forward. He goes in, looking for it, but a good kick by Jiejie. Forces Sheer away. Shadow all by himself, trying to threaten Meiko and Gala. Jwei opens up some space. They look for Jiejie first.
Awesome.
Bullet time, ripping through Meiko. There's Care on the back line, and Gala's isolated. TheShy can't get to him. Rookie trying to fight through the bottom side of this flank. Shy, Sarah's Gates pop. Shadow throws up the Aegis shield, absorbs all the damage, but still goes down to TheShy. IG are making it tough for FPX to win this fight, and Rookie is now on the hunt looking for stragglers while Gala goes back to absorb the minion wave on the bottom side of the base.
Yeah, that boot trinket, that's gonna be enough to force them off, but a close fight. Axel doing some bonus mileage here for IG, and Awesome just wasn't able to get through the entirety of that fight. That bullet time on the top side was big, but he was still kind of outranged, had to play a little bit further back, wasn't able to really step up and deal with the front line. I gotta say, with the Hexel, really helps TheShy and Jiejie space so much stuff. As again, TP in from Sheer. And it was a great kick from Jiejie to really buy time on this engage and this crunch coming in from FPX. They try and close out the angles as Sheer ends up going down early. And Rookie with a great Zanyas to prevent Care from finding the execute onto him. So some good individual plays coming out from IG to really make this one close. I think they're doing a really nice job with spacing out some of these abilities. And again, Hexel doing some extra mileage with making TheShy, A, feel more powerful, and B, giving him some more space with these slows. Is that empowered auto? Again, the Overlord's Blood Mail. Last item. Bruiser Nidalee actually doing some work, and now Rookie, that's a pop!
Big pop! Big pop!
That's huge!
Jwei, Nico's gone! That's only 4 members for FPX. 60 seconds as you called it for the Death Timers. IG have the 5-man advantage. They have the Baron buff. They have Hextech Soul. They're pushing in through the mid lane.
This is where FPX's comp, again, being stuck under the tower against Hexel. That's going to be hard. They don't have the ability to find angles here, which Sheer and Care really need to make sure these fights are good. Shadow's going to try and find it with an ult. We'll see what your presses are. Bullet time used for the wave.
And, I mean, IG are still able to step up and get some decent damage onto the Nexus towers, but it looks like IG are going to step away from now, looking towards the bottom wave that's coming in.
No Nexus turrets for them. Again, Jwei up in 20. So Nexus turret's going to be safe for now, but bot inhibitor where the sights are for IG. Turret bound to fall. FPX have to wait for Jwei to fight. He does have flash. A flash pop blossom could be big. No bullet time, though, for Awesome to combo with.
6 seconds on Jwei. Both minion waves in mid and bot pouring onto the Nexus towers. FPX, you don't have that much time to play for. Here it comes. Shadow and Care watching forward. Jwei looks, finds the backline under Gala, but he's standing tall. He's delivering on the arrows. He doesn't fall. IG will prevail over FPX. Shares the last one, sending alongside Shadow, but it's not going to be overcome the impossible and are bringing us to game 3.
Oh, the Hex Souls and the Bruisers, they do some extra mileage. You get IG over the edge in a 49-minute banger. I mean, Raafaa, I guess we're just in for bangers in this series, going to 3. As IG, what an IG game. We're going to 5-pick Nidalee, or I should say 5-pick Lee Sin to flex Nidalee top, lose early, make it look tough, get a Hex Soul, and then bring it back at the end, and then, you know, it's fine. It's just 1-1, and we move on to the next one with TheShy. More absolute cinema.
Dude, I thought game 1 was going to be the peak of this series. Holy
it is what
moly.
it is, you know?
Dude, I mean...
What is this series? I don't even know anymore.
Dude, we talked about it. We gave props to FunPlus Phoenix. We favored their composition. We said that it was easier to execute on their side, that the scaling advantage on IG was very little. I said that the Nidalee top after the Trinity Force spike was not going to do jack all. I was wrong. TheShy proved us wrong. And in moments where TheShy is skirmishing, dashing in and out of the fight, the empowered takedowns, the extra execute damage, that adds up. And he was able to just slink in kills and pick off stragglers. I'm just like...
It does. I feel like the champs kind of ran out of gas on FPX's side. Like, they also had a lot of early game. I thought the DPS marksman would be enough at the end, but the Bruisers kind of reigned supreme. And honestly, the hands from IG reigned supreme. As thinking back, like, a couple of those moments, I mean, the outplaying of the Pop Blossoms, the kicks to cancel, just the initial big engage from Sheer, like, that was big. Even the Baron steal from Jiejie was, I think, game-changing in that one. Again, they were able to knock down the inners and actually secure themselves a Hex Soul. Whereas if FPX takes that Baron, they get the inners for themselves.
Yeah.
So a lot of big things happen for IG. But again, that's the fun of this team. Like, there is a lot of talent on this roster. We haven't seen these 5 players, like, consistently bring it together, but when they are able to bring it together, and as a team individually, I mean, there's... Whether or not we have questions about how this team plays, there aren't questions about the raw skill that these individuals have on the roster, and IG were able to show it in that game.
Yeah, I mean, Jiejie needs a pay raise fast.
I think Rookie does too. I have a feeling when we look at that damage chart, Rookie's going to be up there. It might be just have a sneaky paw, because Rookie was really doing his job and more in that game.
Oh, yeah. And I think it was a good thing that you highlighted that Rookie was kind of the last hope for the squad when all of the early game centric pieces, the skirmishing power that IG had in, you know, a majority of those champions were not really netting them that strong advantage in the early game. It really came down to Rookie. I mean, the credit to TheShy, he was still pumping a decent amount of damage by the late game, almost matching Rookie. 54k for Rookie and 52k, but God. I mean, we thought the gold draft from game 1 was a roller coaster. This was a roller coaster, dude. There's some corkscrews in there. There was loop-de-loops.
Oh, man. I still, like, looking back again, I think Hexel, honestly, Hexel, I feel like was MVP that game. Again, the ability just to connect with those slows against a